What's up everybody, in this video I tell you how I would have written the Doctor Who Timeless Child storyline and introduce the Doctor as the other. Ooh. Coming up. What's up everybody, Tim here from Sao Til, celebrating the awesomeness that is the TV show Doctor Who. On this channel I produce videos all about Doctor Who, from show news, episode reviews, reaction videos and fan theories just like this one. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Right, this is my second video in my series of how I would write the Timeless Child storyline, because I am a super fan / genius. As we all know by now, the Timeless Child was revealed to be the Doctor. Yes, the Doctor now has superhuman powers to regenerate until infinity. We've had infinity Doctors before this one, all with different names and faces, and it's caused a bit of upset in the fandom community. I've decided to rewrite that storyline, introducing the concept of the other. If you don't know what or who the other is, please go out and Google search Lungbarrow. Lungbarrow gives you a bit of an insight into the Cartmel masterplan about who the other was potentially going to be way back when the 7th Doctor was on our screens. I'm jumping straight in by saying that the Timeless Child concept should not have been revealed over one season. The reveal needs to be drip-fed over the course of 3 seasons, starting in season 11. Right, starting off with season 11. Season 11 I would not change much at all. Yes, I'd probably make season 11 a bit less preachy, but apart from that it would carry on as you would have seen on TV. So we start with the remnant in the Ghost Monument. Yes, the psychic ghost bog roll, ladies and gentlemen, and they were the first entity to talk about the Timeless Child, and they would do that again in my storyline. But this time they would hint to the Doctor about some kind of forgotten regret or lost memory. And then fast forward to It Takes You Away, and yes, I would even keep the frog on the chair, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the frog on the chair, my favourite entity in season 11, would still be there, yay! But with a few slight changes. As we all know, the Solitract is an omnipotent being from the start of the universe. It was mentioned in Gallifrey mythology, so it's got a bit of powers. And with this conversation that the Solitract has with the Doctor, I want the Solitract to again hint at forgotten memories or forgotten times or lost thoughts and actions of the Time Lords in relation to the Timeless Child. I then jump to the end of the series, to the Battle of Ranzikor. I'm not really bothered about all the stuff with Tim Shaw, and that can just play out exactly how it is. What I'm interested in again in this episode is the Ux. Now, if you don't remember the Ux, they were the ones that were telepaths that could build things with their minds. And again, I want the Ux to interact with the Doctor during this episode, where they hug her, shake her hand at the end of the episode, whatever it is, and suddenly get a flashback to something that we don't see on screen, but they are actually quite shocked, and they actually physically step back and step away from the Doctor, as if shocked, scared, frightened, or something like that, of the Doctor and what they've seen. The Ux are quite a peace-loving character that we see through the episode, and suddenly they flip when they see this memory. So obviously this is really important to us as a viewer and to also the Doctor. Season 12, of course, is where there's going to be a lot of big changes, but actually, I would keep the majority of season 12 as it is. So Spyfall can reintroduce the Master, Sashin Dhawan can be the Master again, and it can have exactly the same storyline as we saw on TV. Through the 2 parts, I don't want the Master to be this kind of cackling, maniacal, very two-dimensional character that we saw on TV. I want the Master to be a bit more calculating and to kind of hark back to Roger Delgado in some ways. And I actually want the Master to give the Doctor an option to join him. So rather than to be kind of going on about the burning down of Gallifrey, I actually want him to offer the Doctor a chance to go on a mission with him. And that mission is that the Master can tell the Doctor that he has discovered within the archives of Gallifrey the key to immortality, the key to ultimate power. He's not sure it is, he's got a location, he wants to go and find it, and he wants to take the Doctor with him because the Master believes that the Time Lords have been lying to them for their entire lives. The Doctor's going to turn him down, and she's going to stop him and the Kashavin taking over Earth. But the hangover from that episode is that there is this mystery out there to be solved. Carrying on through the series, and I would remove the episode The Fugitive of the Judoon. Now, before you all jump on me, the Ruth Doctor, great concept, good idea, poor execution on TV, but the concept of the Ruth Doctor does not fit into this timeline that I'm creating here, so I intend to remove that idea completely, might reuse it in the future, but it's not going to appear in this version of the Timeless Child timeline with the other. Instead of having Fugitive of the Judoon episode, I would make Can You Hear Me a two-parter. Now the reason I'd make that a two-parter is I actually think that episode deserved two parts, because the two celestial beings that were introduced in that episode were actually quite big fundamental characters to the mythos of Doctor Who and the universe of Doctor Who, and they were introduced very quickly, they were dispatched very quickly in the episode you saw on TV, and I think they actually deserved a two-parter to really give the gravitas that they deserved. So as part of this episode, because it's now a two-parter, we can get some more expedition about the Timeless Child, and the Doctor can have more kind of lucid fever dreams from the dream machine, where we can see as viewers and the Doctor can see flashbacks to scenes we've never seen before, maybe on Gallifrey, in science labs, and images of the Timeless Child again, maybe in a more linear fashion than we've seen. A lot of information is going to be dumped on us about the Timeless Child in this episode. The other reason it needs to be a two-parter is here is where I would introduce Captain Jack. Now, I'd introduce Captain Jack in exactly the same way that we saw him when he was on TV, where he transports Graham out mid-episode, except this time I'd make it more overtly clear that Captain Jack is involved in a future version of the Cyber War, and specifically he has had some intel that a lone Cyberman has travelled through time looking for a Time Lord, or maybe looking for the Doctor specifically, and reference the Cyberium, so that the message that Jack gives to Graham to give the Doctor is more clear what the intentions of the lone Cyberman are, and the implications of the Doctor giving him what he wants. And then we jump to the three-part series finale. The Haunting of the Villa Diodati can be exactly the same, where you get the reveal of the lone Cyberman at the end, and you get the Doctor giving the Cyberman the Cyberium, etc, etc, etc. That can be exactly the same. Likewise, the Ascension of the Cyberman, the episode that comes next, can be the same with a small tweak. The boundary concept can be there as well, with the humans talking about how the boundary is sending the survivors away from the cyber war. But instead of just getting the guy from Game of Thrones, I can't remember the character's name, mentioned, but I also want another character to be mentioned at the same time, that the scientist is there helping humans escape the Cybermen, and the scientist can be built up as a very benevolent figure that the humans all revere and all thank for the way that he is saving humanity. Episode pans out again in the same way. They end up on the planet with the boundary, and then at the end of the episode the big reveal comes that the scientist is not the scientist at all, but it is in fact the Master. The Master is actually there to use the boundary in league with the Cybermen to help the Cybermen transport themselves to Gallifrey, because he tells the Doctor he has found the location of the source of ultimate power, the source of immortality. So the episode ends and the Master takes the Cybermen, goes through the boundary, and leaves the Doctor wondering what she's going to do next. Following episode, the Doctor realises she needs to go and save Gallifrey, not only from the Cybermen, but also needs to go and save Gallifrey and the Master from themselves. So she transports herself over to Gallifrey, and obviously the companions follow in tow. So what we now have is a split storyline where the Cybermen are starting to attack Gallifrey, and obviously the Time Lords are there, and they are fighting back with what limited defences they've got following the Time War. And whilst all that is going on, the Master is actually using this Cybermen attack as a distraction for the Time Lord, so he can sneak into some secret underground base, I don't know, at the heart of Gallifrey to go and locate this item of immortality, of ultimate power. It should be pointed out that we won't have the death particle element involved here. The lone Cyberman keeps the Cyberium and tries to lead the Cybermen attack on Gallifrey, and ultimately he fails because the Time Lords are far more powerful. The main part of the storyline is obviously the Doctor following the Master into the bowels of Gallifrey, where he finds a secret room, a secret facility, something like that, but he is unable to open the door. Along comes the Doctor to try and talk the Master out, and strangely enough the door controls, or the security controls, recognise the Doctor. Inside they find a disused laboratory, maybe really dusty, cobwebby, all that kind of stuff. It's obviously been there for a very long time, no sign of any life at all whatsoever. And as they are walking around this laboratory, the Master is obviously looking for this source of power, but the Doctor, she is kind of stopped in her tracks because she's starting to get memories forming inside her head. She recognises elements of the room, and she's really disorientated, and she doesn't really know why or what is going on. The Doctor and the Master can find a big computer terminal which is identified linking to the Matrix, something like that. And upon touching it, the computer terminal comes to life at the Doctor's touch. We get some disjointed but identifiable video feeds coming from the computer referencing a scientific experiment video diary of someone experimenting on a child. That child being the timeless child. Then through these disjointed diary entries, it had revealed, much like we saw on TV, about the discovery of a child at the beginning of Gallifreyan society and the fact that that child can regenerate. What is different, however, is nothing to do with Tectoyun and the previous inhabitants of Gallifrey. This child was discovered by the founders of Gallifreyan society, Rassilon, Omega, and a character that we're going to refer to as the Other. Now at this point, the Other can be called any name you like. The Other is the one I'm sticking to because it's kind of founded in Extended Universe Doctor Who canon. Fundamentally, you've got three founders of Gallifrey. The politician in Rassilon, the engineer in Omega, and the scientist in the Other. And the Other is the one doing the experiments on the child at the behest of Rassilon. These diary entries continue, and it becomes clear that Rassilon wants to find the secret of immortality, and he's pushing the Other to continue to experiment on this child, even though it's becoming quite obvious that this child is in distress. And the diary entries can finish with the Other saying that they have found the secret to immortality, but they do not wish to give it to Rassilon. So woven into the genetics of the new Gallifreyans is a regeneration limit of 13. Effectively a last-ditch attempt to stop Rassilon having ultimate power and immortality forever. The Other can then say that they are consigning themselves to the Matrix in the hope that in the future they can be reborn and they can redeem themselves. Pan to the Doctor. The Doctor realises, the viewer realises, and the Master realises that the Other and the Doctor are one in the same person. Boom! There's the cliffhanger you want about the Doctor Who canon. So the Doctor can be mortified at what she's found out about herself. The Master can be having so much fun with this, and you can really have some good interaction between the character. The Master has realised that for so long the Doctor has been this quite high and mighty, moralistic person in their relationship, and the Master actually is now saying, actually, you're as bad as me because you've experimented on this child. The Doctor can admit, yes, that was me. I did do all those things in my previous incarnation, and when I was reborn through the Matrix, I took the name the Doctor to atone for my sins. Boom. Whilst all this is going on, the Cybermen can be fought back by the Gallifreyan forces. The TARDIS family can escape the Cybermen as they are destroyed, and they are captured by the Time Lords. Likewise, the Master and the Doctor can be found within the bowels of Gallifrey, and all the people are brought together by the Gallifreyans. They're all captured in one big prisoner party. The Master can escape at the end of the episode, vowing to return to remind the Doctor about her past discretions. The Time Lords can effectively let the Doctor go because there's obviously that relationship there from the last time the Doctor was on Gallifrey. The Doctor takes the team back to Earth and can now effectively leave them on Earth, because not only has she found out the secret of the timeless child and about how regenerations were created for the Time Lords, but she's also remembered her role in that. So she's got quite a lot of soul searching to do. I think that'd be a really good ending to Series 12. You can have a festive episode within this. You could have the Doctor being captured by the Gallifreyans and put in prison because they realise having her in prison is better than having her out roaming the galaxy with this new secret inside her head. The Doctor can send out a distress call to her family on Earth, and Captain Jack can happen to be passing looking for the Doctor, join up with the TARDIS team and have quite a light-hearted comedic episode where they are trying to break the Doctor out of prison in a heist movie type episode. Rolling into Season 13, Season 13 can bring Gallifrey back in a big way. I think this could really set the 13th Doctor's tenure apart from all her predecessors in New Who, because Gallifrey, for obvious reasons, has not been there. Having the secret of the timeless child and the fact that the Doctor was the Other can start to play out in this season. You've got a lot of Gallifreyan politics to throw into this. Rassilon is still out there. If you remember, he was fired away in his little shuttlecraft the last time the Doctor was on Gallifrey, so he's still out there. So there's potentially some good interactions between Rassilon and the Doctor as the Other that could come out in Season 13. Likewise, if you're really going crazy, you could bring back Omega into this kind of scenario and have, potentially, all three of the Founding Fathers or mothers of the Gallifreyan Society in Rassilon, Omega, and the Doctor as the other at the climax of season 13. Rightio, there we go. There is how I'd introduce the Doctor, aka the Other, into the storyline of the Timeless Child. What did you think? Was it good? Would you do anything different? Stick a comment in the comments below and let me know how you would have written the Timeless Child storyline. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel, and if you appreciate this video, please give it a like. Please also leave a comment in the comments below and let me know what future videos you'd like to see on this channel. Sao Til is all about celebrating the awesomeness is the TV show Doctor Who. I'll be back soon with more videos on this series and other Doctor Who related videos. Until then, cheerio for now, bye bye.